There are many different service philosophies in the hospitality industry that include that I believe that are most important. That include presentation, attentiveness, knowledgeability, smiling, and anticipation. First off, I'll start out with presentation. So, I work in the food and beverage industry, so that's what I know best. But all these service philosophy traits go along with every hospitality industry, whether that be lodging, tourism, senior citizens, anything like that. So, starting off with presentation, let's just say you walk into a restaurant, and like a fine dining restaurant, and the server's not dressed appropriately, or they just don't look like they're ready for work. Like they need to have that element of being presentable when walking in. This also goes along with, like, who wants to walk into a fine dining restaurant and let's just say there's no music playing, everything's just dead. Like, that creates like a bad atmosphere for your restaurant, and you just don't want that. For the sake of, you want your guests to come back to your restaurant. So with the artwork on the walls, with just everything going on around it, like how your service staff presents itself, can go a long way. And if your guest comes back, or your guest leaves a great review or a bad review, it can make all the difference in the world. Next, I'll start off with attentiveness. Attentiveness goes a long way in the hospitality industry. So me, I've been a server for almost 2 years now, and one thing I notice is that I just see some servers and they just don't serve the waters on time. Like, the waters aren't refilled, and the food isn't given out in a good amount of time. Like they wait too long, or they're busy doing something else, and they don't end up dropping the food off in time. So it makes your guests wait because your servers isn't doing the right thing, and they're not being attentive, and like, people's drinks get low, and then they're just sitting there. But on the other flip side of that, if you are attentive and you are putting forth an effort to make sure that your table is 100% taken care of, then they will most likely come back to that restaurant that you are serving at. Now, this also goes along with other hospitality fields in the same way. Like, a manager has to be attentive, and going back on the server aspect of attentiveness, like dropping the checks at the appropriate time, not too soon, not too late, but also just that window of time is essential in the hospitality industry. And the third element I'll talk about today is a smile. So when you walk into a place of customer service, you want somebody to smile and make you feel welcome and feel like that they belong there, and that you are treating them with respect, and they are also going to treat you with respect in turn. So, like, golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. I believe that it goes a long way because you never know what somebody's going through, and just by saying, hi, how are you, smiling at them, just making them feel welcome, just goes such a long way. They are more likely to upstart a conversation with you, and let's just say you are serving, you were more likely to upsell items if you can get that personal connection with somebody. That, like, if you're able to just start that conversation and really get to know them, it just happens. It's crazy. And on the next thing I'll talk about today is knowledgeability. So knowledgeability is huge. So let's just say, obviously, like, you're serving, or you're a manager, etc., bartending. It's important to know. You want to know as much information as possible. I know there's so much information, but let's just say a guest asks you what kind of wine that you prefer, or what the difference between a red wine and a white wine is. So, like, Chardonnay versus Merlot versus a Josh Cab. You should be able to distinguish each and every difference between those as a server, bartender, etc. Because the more you know about the product you're selling, the more confident you can feel. And this goes with food and anything else. Now, the last element I'll talk about today is anticipation. You should always anticipate your guests' needs. How many times have you been to IHOP or Denny's, and you sit down, and let's just say hypothetically you order pancakes, and they put pancakes they give you pancakes, but they don't give you syrup or butter, and you're just sitting there as a guest at the restaurant, and you're just like, where are these food items? They haven't brought these out to me yet, and it almost becomes to seem like the server just doesn't care about you, when really, like, having that anticipation factor is huge, because if you as a guest can as a server, can come out and bring the plates, bring everything out together and make sure the guest has everything they need, from refilled waters, napkins, silverware, you will make a huge difference. And yeah, that is just a huge factor. Now, the 5 factors that, again, presentation, knowledgeability, attentiveness, smiling, and anticipation, all go a long way in the hospitality industry. But I believe that if you follow these 5 principles, you will have great success in the industry. And while I am a server, and I do I was talked about restaurant and serving a lot in this video and this presentation, I believe that it goes everywhere. So lodging, tourism, senior living management, it can all go a long way and help create a successful hospitality experience.